Okay, I'm back and I've decided to do a from scratch video of basically firing up NV4 and firing up LDR, and we're going to do a little bit with the web editor and how to link them all together. There's a guy at work who's wanting me to do something a little more with the addressing and stuff, so I figure this is a good way to do it, is to go through everything from scratch and kind of explain it. And this might be a little longer video, maybe 30 minutes. I don't know how long I'm going to get with it, but see what we can get accomplished here. Let me open them up and I'll kind of walk you through some of the stuff as it's opening up again. I do have the demo version on here right now because I just had to restore my computer and I need to put my product key and stuff back in, but it works the same, just gives you 30 days to use it, so no worries. Okay, this is NV4 firing up. It's going to have a bunch of questions for you. This is where you pick your type of monitor you're using, the part number for it and all that stuff. You know, we're just going to use the HG3G, so we'll just go next. This is where you can pick a communications driver if you want. I don't ever do anything there. I wait till later to do it. Click OK. It's going to have another screen pop up here in a minute asking you about a window. This is screen properties. This is our first screen. It's going to be a base screen. Okay, so we're just going to click OK. It's going to give us a base screen. Okay, over here's our screen list. This is this screen. Let me minimize this down and get it over here to where we can see it right. Okay, now I'm going to open up WinLDR. Yeah, I got 28 days, I know. We're going to close this. Let's minimize this. I want to get this to where you can see it. Pull it into view there. Let's get it all the way into view. Make sure everything can be seen on here. Okay. Let's start with the WinLDR. This is where your project's actually kind of, well, I guess it really starts at the HMI if you start using your buttons and whatnot. Anyways, I want to start here because I want to go down here. I want to change. I don't use the FC5As. For one thing is they do not have the web editor on them. I like the web editor function in the FC6A, so we're going to change that to an FC6A C24. This is kind of like the base unit that I like using. Okay, changing the PLC type will cause certain changes to be made. These changes cannot be undone. Proceed. In other words, you could lose some of your stuff out of your program when you do this, so be wary. If you've already written your program and you're changing a PLC, you could lose some data. Okay, now that I've got this changed, I'm going to go up here to view because there's certain things I want to see and certain things I don't want to see. Okay, down here, this info window, that's this button here. You can either toggle it on or off. This tells you what's wrong. Okay, this is what happened when I changed from FC5A to a 6A. I lost communication settings of port 3 have been lost because there's not a port 3. So if I were to go here to configuration, COM ports, see, I have no longer a port 3. That's what this is meaning. The port 3 went away that was on the FC5A. Okay, don't worry about that. You can actually go home and go to convert. You don't have a PLC program in there yet, but convert actually is going to tell you if you have something wrong with your program, but now it doesn't see it. No, it doesn't care if you have the port open or that port available anymore. But anyways, view, I'll show you what I do. I get rid of that. I get rid of the property sheet. I get rid of the toolbox. And what I use is tag editor, and I use my project window. Okay, and we'll show you how to get some of this around also and how it works. Let me show you a few things. It's kind of tricks here to use. Let's go ahead and go home, and we'll grab a normally closed and stick it there. And I want to show you, I want to double click on it. I'm just going to give it an address first. I'm going to give it I0. That's our first address on our PLC. I'm not going to put a comment or anything down here. I'm going to show you how this interface works a little bit. Okay, I want to put a comment. I'm going to say this is my start button. Okay, so see, now it's going to put it up here, start button. It says start but. I'm going to show you how to fix that also. Okay, if I wanted it to put a tag name down here, I don't use tag names, I use comments, because a tag name, I'm going to show you why. If I put a space in there, it won't let me do it because it's got to be a tag name. So you got to do it like this. Then it'll take it. So that's why I don't use those, but I'll show you how to make them display anyways. You go into, just click right up here, WinLDR options, ladder preferences. Okay, then here's where you got all your stuff. You can show tag name. When I click OK, now my tag name's down there. I don't use the tag name, so I'll get rid of that. I do not show the tag name. Okay, this is where you can fix your number of columns to anywhere between 9 and 20, and I'll show you what happens. It's going to move that over. Okay, so now the end of my row is all the way over there. Okay, if I go WinLDR back to ladder preferences, I know this is redundant going back and forth. I don't like mine fixed. I want to leave it open where it does it itself. You can change different colors of the backgrounds if you want. Like if you want the background to be some weird looking green or whatever. See, you can do that. You can make it change all kinds of. It doesn't take effect until you exit it, but you can change the line colors. All right, here's your coil height. You can actually change the size of the coils and the devices. Line width, tag width, all of that stuff can change pretty much. And it's right here's the comment lines. See, it changed it to 2, so now it says start button. Follow me? So you can put multiple lines in there to get you can put all the info. I think you can go like 10 lines or something. I don't know. I've never went up that high. But let's see. You can go to 10. Yeah, you can go up to 10 lines. Okay, and your line width is you can stretch those out also. Okay. Anyways, it's some of the stuff how to mess around in that if you want. But that's why I use comment and not tag. I take the tag name and I shrink it down out of my way because I don't need it. I have not figured out a way to delete it out of there yet, but that's what I do. I get it out of my way because I don't even use those. Okay, and from the get-go, I'll usually figure out my IOs, my inputs and outputs, and I'll list them on here, and that way I can pull them from this as I use it. And I mean, if you're flying by the seat of your pants, you can put them in as you go. You can also put these comments in. I'll show you another way. Let's delete that out of there. Put it normally open there. I'm going to call this one, let's double click it. We're going to call it I1. Okay, I can also put this, we're going to call it stop even though it's closed. If I can type right. Okay, see, and it's going to populate it for you right there if you're going the other direction with it, putting them in here. So it doesn't matter which way. Okay, let's kind of go, let's see, we have some of that done now. I want to show you some stuff that happens on this end of it. I'll show you what you'll get if you don't do something right. Let's get a button. This is where you pick your buttons from. A bit button is either on or off. It's either 1 or 0. Whatever you want to call it. Stretch it out whatever shape we want. Double click on it. All right, now I want to customize this. I want to point it over here. Okay. So I got to go into the double click on it. This is the action mode where there's momentary, reset, set, alternate, toggle. Momentary is just like a regular momentary button. You push it, you let go of it. It goes from 0 to 1 and back to 0 when you let go of it. All right, your destination device. This is what it's looking at. Okay, if you're getting this micro I and I want to go to external device 0, it's going to say unallocated tag name. That's because I don't have my communications programmed for this to look at anything yet. So if you get that, it's not going to let you pick anything. It's because you've forgotten to program what this HMI is looking at for information or sending information to. Okay, so let's go fix that. We're going to cancel out of this. I'm going to show you how to fix it. All right, configuration, project. And this is basically how you tie these two together. Okay, we're going to go to communication interface, Ethernet. This is the IP address of the HMI. Okay, subnet mask of the HMI. That's default. You can change that if you want to. Like if you have your own network and you want to set this up in your own network, you can change these numbers to match your network and, you know, add the node number that you want it to be or whatever. Okay, so we're going to have protocol 1. I want to set this to external device communication 1. This is my first device that I want this HMI to communicate with. If I had 2 PLCs I wanted to communicate, then I would set another one right here, external device 2. But I don't want that. We're going to go not used on it. Okay, so we have the 1 PLC we're talking to. All right, so let's go to communication driver. You got to make sure you use IDEC. Okay, because you're communicating with an IDEC PLC. You can pick from different PLCs. You can communicate with a Mitsubishi PLC, an Allen Bradley PLC, an Omron, whatever. I want to use an IDEC. Okay, right here it defaults to FC6A, RS232, or RS485 communication. We're using Ethernet. So I'm going to go to FC6A Ethernet because I'm using FC6A. If I was using FC5A, then I would go right here to OpenNet Micro Smart Access Pro Lite Ethernet. But since we have an FC6A, I don't know what the difference is, but I'm going to use the one that says FC6A. Okay, so now we're all good there. We have 1 and N communication because I'm going to 1 PLC. This defaults 1 and N. Communication driver network. This is where you set up the address of the PLC it's talking to. You tell it what the PLC's actual IP address is. Okay, you click here. I'm pointing at external device 1. Okay, it defaults to 192.168.1.5 because that's the default address inside of the PLC already. Now, if you have multiple PLCs, you'll have to change this. And, you know, you might have to use .7, .8, .9, you know, etc. Okay, if you want to change this over here also, you can change the device name. Say this is my MCC PLC. It's my PLC and my master control cabinet. This might help me identify it better later as I'm picking from a list if I have multiple PLCs that I'm talking to with this HMI. Oh, see, I put the space in there. No space. It don't like the space. Okay, so now we're configured to talk to this. Okay. See, here is our PLC IP address that it defaulted to over here. If you change it over here, you have to change it over here. Like if you're on a network, like I said, and you're changing different to your network, yours might be 168.10 dot something, whatever it might be. I mean, you have to change this to match it as well as in here, so you know where for it to look to. Okay, so now I'm gonna put a normally open contact here, and we're gonna call it something else. I'll show you how we'll get this point to it. All right, I'm gonna double click on it, and this you can pick it here. I want this to be a memory address, not a I is a physical input coming into the PLC via wiring, like a button or a switch or something like that, and M is something internal. So I want to use an internal relay. M, I'm just going to call this one 0. Okay, and I'm going to say, we'll call it start. You know what, I'm going to make it a little different so I can be a little better at it. We'll call it HMI. Okay, so that's your start button and your HMI is what we're going to call that. Okay, over here now, I'm just kind of going back and forth to show you how to do it back and forth so you'll know how to do it. Okay, this is our button. I just double clicked on it. Action mode's momentary, my destination device. Okay, I don't want it looking at the micro I want it looking at my MCC PLC. Okay, memory bit. it's going to automatically change that to a memory bit. Device 0 is default. You can go up, go down. You can fill it in yourself if you want, whatever. Okay, now I can put my tag name in here if I want to. And I've showed in another video how you can import and export tags. If you have a whole tag list, you can actually import them into NV4 to where you already have them available in here. But we'll call them in here anyways. Same thing, start HMI. Okay. And then we go to view. Let's go to browse, show you how to go to where you can find the different buttons you can use here. Now we don't want to use these kind, so we're going to go to picture, go to browse, symbol factory. It's going to pull up a whole nother list of buttons and stuff that we can pick from. Get this over here where you can see it. This is the same symbol factory you're going to pick from for your web editor as well as your HMI. So you can match your web page exactly to your HMI if you so wish to do so. Let's go here to gadget button. We're going to pick that one. Okay, I like that one. So I'm going to double click it. We're going to call that, let's call it button red off. In case I have multiple buttons, I'll have them in alphabetical order that way. Okay. Let's go to symbol factory again. Let's get our why this thing shrunk back down like that. I want to go get my on version of it. So let's get, okay. I don't know why it skipped the naming part of it, but anyways, you've seen how to name it will go. So I'm going to go select. All right, that's my off. On, browse, select, select. That's my on. So now when this button's off, it's going to look like that. When it's on, it's going to look like that. Okay. Registration text is where I can go in there and I can put start or whatever. And we can make it different colors. Let's go with like a yellow. You can go down here and pick more colors too, and it gives you a whole array of whatever to pick from. You can go from font to Windows font. If you go to Windows font, then you can change the size, bold, whatever on it. The alignment's all changed here. You know, down here's where you change the font. See, I want to use it. I want to use a bold. I don't know. You might want to use something crazy looking. Who knows? Like maybe that or something. Here's where you pick the size 8. Okay. Trigger condition is something if you want the button not to be visible until it pops up. Comment, where you can put a comment about the button in there. You know what it's for. It's this just pops up. It's not actually what shows up here. It's just inside this. You know. Okay. So now see we have our button. I can move that button and use it anywhere I want. Okay, I don't like it the way it looks. You can always double click on it. Registration text, I don't like it. It's too small of letters, so maybe let's go up to a 14. Yeah, it's still a little small. Okay, I'm just showing you how you can kind of play around with stuff. Let's go on up to maybe an 18. See how that looks. All right, I kind of like that. It's better. Okay, preview of it. Let's get a preview. That's what it looks like on your HMI. When you click this little button right here, that's a preview of what your HMI is going to look like. Because your HMI is going to have all these grid dots on it. The dots are for you to align stuff up, and you can make it snap to dot and all that. That's what these are, is snap to grid. All right, and this is where you change states of what it would look like on your HMI. Okay, there's on, there's off, there's on, there's off. Okay, to give you some kind of an idea. Okay, now this has my address up here of what it's going to. So this button now activates this within the PLC. Okay, let's go ahead and put an output on it. Just a basic output. Double click on it. I'm gonna call it Q0. IDECs are all Qs for outputs, I's for inputs. We'll call this motor 1. Okay. Stretch this over a little more and we can get it. Now when it's bounced over there, that's because you have a minimum of 9 lines it lets you do. When I showed you how to do the lines in here 1 to 0, where it picks its own distance, if you started adding more than 9 devices in here with this output, it would stretch this on over and give you 10 columns is what it would do. Let's go ahead and save these. We'll just save them. I haven't saved them yet. Save and save often. If you don't save and save often, you will regret it sooner or later. Okay, so now we have this pointing at this. So when you push this button on your HMI, this is going to go true or turn on or go to a 1, whatever you want to call it. It's going to complete the circuit across here. Basically, let power go from this rung across here and turn on this coil. And this is actually an output. It's not a coil, but we call it a coil in here. So you'll have a Q000 on your PLC that's actually going to output power via a relay, if it's a relay output, or via a transistor, if it's transistor sink or source output. Either way, you're going to get some kind of a voltage out of it, whether you're running a relay and you're running 110 through it, or 24 volts, or 12 volts, or 5 volts, or you have a transistor and you're getting 24 volts out of it. We'll get more into that later, but anyhow, okay, let's move on. Now, I like to, myself, you can go in here. You got the same things you can do in here. You have your project window. You can actually do a web editor in here. I prefer to do it over here. That makes this independent of this. Plus, you can also test from within your web editor directly to this ladder program. If you do it in ladder, you can actually use your web editor to proof your PLC program without having an HMI or anything hooked up to it. I've shown how to do that in another video also. Okay, we're going to go to project window, web editor. All right, now the only thing bad about web editor, it's not really bad, it's just kind of cumbersome that I know that I don't really like, is that sometimes it doesn't put the buttons in there like it should. Now we'll go and try. Let's go ahead and double click web editor. I'm going to show you what we have here. We'll get it fired up and opened up. Okay, this is a virtual HMI web editor is what this is, you're building here. Okay, this is basically your screen area. This is your properties of your button. Okay, first off, buttons are like buttons. They momentary on, momentary off, you know, whatever, depends on how you do it if you invert it. Switch is either an on or an off. You have to touch it to turn it on, touch it to turn it off. And I think that IDEC does it because of the latency between, you know, of course, an Ethernet-based, internet-based program and a, you know, a device like a PLC. It'd be hard to do a momentary for something that's got a that much of a lag between it. We'll put a button here anyway. Okay, we get the button. Click on it. It's going to open up all these dialogues here. All right, now we want image. Go to lamp. We have these. This is what we have available. It's not very complete. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back. I don't know what that's doing there. Go back to WinLDR. I'm going to right click on these buttons. I'm going to go to Symbol Factory. And this one I was talking about is kind of cumbersome. You have to load all these in twice. I wish there was a way. There may be a way to import them. I don't know. I haven't messed with it enough. This is something that's kind of new on the FC6A anyway. Go to Gadget Buttons. Let's see. One. Right, we picked This one for our on. Off, I mean. Okay. Now let's right click it again, symbol factory. Gonna pull it up again. We're gonna get this one for our on. Okay. Right now, we double click on this. Oop, we gotta refresh it. Wait, I'm in the wrong one. I want lamp, I want button. Switch, I mean. There we go. Okay, there's that one. Here's our on. Okay. Now we can resize this like this. Or you can go down here. You can make your sizes right here. So you want it to be, well, that's actually location, but sizes 100 by 100. Okay. Okay, can you dig that? All right, now that looks the same as the one we have on our HMI. Well, close. Not quite. Close. Text off. What do we put on our HMI here? Start. Start. Text off color. We're going to make it that funky looking or a yellow. Yellow. Okay. Just kind of follow along, see how I'm doing this. These are real handy. Your locations are real handy for alignment for multiple buttons. Okay, now we need to point this at our PLC program. Okay, so we're going to go right here to device tree. Click that. All right, it's getting our devices right now from our PLC program. It's going to have them listed in here. You have plus M00. That's this. Okay, it already pulled it up for us. So we just click that. Make sure it's a bit. Don't give you much of a choice there, but make sure it's a bit. Let's click OK. All right, now this button is located in. Oop, I didn't do that right. We don't want that there. We want that up here. Okay. Now our button's pointing at this. M00. We'll do that again. Copy and paste. And you really should be in edit when you're doing this, not in simulation. Simulation lets you turn them off and on. Like that's how I figured out I was in simulation. You really need to be in edit. Okay, but you can copy and paste them like that. We'll add a new one. I want this one to do the same thing. We'll put it at M0. Okay, see, M0 loads it the same way. So this button or this button could run that. All right, I'll tell you what, I want to put a lamp over here. Let's put a lamp that tells me when Q0 is on. But I want to go back to my ladder program. Let's go to symbol factory again. I'm going to go to lamp, symbol factory. What happened here? Symbol factory went crazy on me. There's some squirrely stuff sometimes goes on with this software, but it's all workable. All right, let's go to gadget lights. Let's say maybe I want to make me a stack light. All right, I want to rotate it 90 degrees because stack lights are usually up and down. And if your screen looks ugly too, by the way, you need to click that. Show enhanced symbols. So let's do that stack light again. An enhanced symbol is going to be a lot clearer. It's going to take a little more space on your drive, but it's going to look a hell of a lot better. So if you have something, your symbols are looking ugly on your web page, you might want to check that, by the way. Okay, so this is going to be, we'll call it okay, let's get another one in here. Let's pull up this symbol factory. I don't know why it's not pulling back up the same damn way every time like it should. I don't know. Anyways, we'll double click that. We're going to call that okay. Now let's go back over here. Let's go to our light. We're going to symbol tree, we'll go to Q. We want to see when that output right there is on. So we'll click OK on that. All right, our on image. We're going to go down here now. We're going to go to our lamps. Oh, we need to refresh it. Our lamp's not in there. There's our off. Okay. There's our on. Okay. Symbol's not in there. Refresh. I'm going to make this thing 100 by 100. Oop. Okay. File, you gotta save this too. Don't forget to save this. We're gonna save the page as, we'll call it test 1, because it's gonna put a file you're going to click on to open it back up in your PLC if you want to close it out. Now let's get some of this over here where we can see it now. Save. We'll show you this again. All right. Online. Let's go to simulate. Simulation. Why that's not kicking it? Oh, I gotta go to run. There it goes. Guess you got to go this simulation first before you turn that on. I know it works, but anyway. See, off, on. Light comes on when Q0 comes on. So light goes off when Q0 goes off. So this is how you can tie it together. You can actually use this for an HMI if you build your HMI just like this. There's a little bit of hindrance on some of this compared to the HMI. I really wish they had this laid out just like the HMI, tools. It'd be a lot easier. Maybe one day, Santa Claus. I don't know. I hope that helps y'all. It's been about a 30-minute video, kind of long, but hopefully that tells you how to tie everything together seamlessly. Kind of answers Dexter's question, I hope. Dexter, if it don't, just hit me up tomorrow and I'll do another video. I don't care. I like doing them. Just hadn't had the time to do a lot here lately, but I hope this helps somebody. Comment on it. Subscribe to my channel. Subscribe to IDEC's forum, please. I need a lot of interaction on there. If you have this demo version of software, by the way, there's an easy way you can get the real version. You can either pay for it, which I don't know exactly how much it is, or you can buy an IDEC starter kit. Just find you a cheap IDEC starter kit for a couple $100 and you'll get hardware and software free. Or you can, the best case is go to an IDEC class and he'll give you the full version software, and you can choose from a bunch of different kits with the package, and you'll have a full PLC setup at your house to tinker around with. It's a pretty good deal if you ask me. That's probably the best deal out there as far as somebody trying to get into PLCs and learn them. It gives you something hands-on and keeps you interested. Looking at a computer screen is not real interesting sometimes, but seeing an actual light blink off and on is, I don't know, it's like the animal in us. We want to see it, I guess, so it might help you. Anyways, thanks for watching.